Greetings to all. Welcome to Future Officers Academy. Today we are going to see daily current affairs of 31st August. So today we are going to discuss the topics of Cyclone Asna forms over Kutch, heavy rain batters Gujarat at 6.7% growth slid to 5 quarter low in Q1. So this first topic comes this both we have to know under prelims perspective. Next, India yet to take a decision on Pakistan invite to SCO made, so which we have to know under international relations. Next, China reasserts its claims in religious disputes, pushes rivals limits, so which we have to know under GS3 Indian economy. Next, de-water. We have to know the term under this. Next, editorial analysis, and finally, we will be seeing the international organization topic. Our first topic about cyclone as now forms over Kutch heavy rain batters at Gujarat. So first we have to know about the news. The cyclone as now the first August Arabian Sea storm since 1976 formed over Gujarat's Kutch coast, bringing heavy rainfall and causing 32 fatalities in Gujarat. Over 18,000 people were evacuated due to floods. So we have to know about cyclone Asna first. First, their formation. Cyclone Asna formed over Kutch coast in Gujarat and adjoining areas of Pakistan. The impact is caused light to moderate rainfall in Gujarat with heavy to very heavy rainfall in Kutch and Saurashtra. The movement is expected to move away the western coast in next 48 hours, heading towards the Arabian Sea. The historical context is this is the first cyclonic storm in Arabian Sea in August since 1976. Previous August cyclones occurred in 1976, 1964 and 1944. So the name of this cyclone Asna is origin from Pakistan. So it means the one of the acknowledged or praised. So with this, we have UPSC prelims question which have been asked in 2020. Consider the following statements. Jet streams occur in the northern hemisphere only. Only some cyclones develop an eye. The temperature inside the eye of cyclone is nearly 10 degrees Celsius lesser than that of the surroundings. Which of the statements given above is are correct? So the option C is correct. Only second statement is correct here. So our next topic is about at 6.7% growth slid to 5 quarter level in Q1. So we have to know about the news first. India's real GDP growth slowed to 6.7% in Q1 2024 to 25, the slowest in 5 quarters, missing the RBI's 7.1% forecast. However, real gross value added outpaced GDP growing 6.8%, driven by the secondary sector. So next reasons for this slowdown. The first thing is election related expenditure drop. Election related expenditure drop. So the government spending including capital expenditure slowed due to the conduct of general elections reducing public investments. Next is public capital expenditure decline. So in this public capital expenditure, including projects funded by the center, states and public sector firms, fell by 33.3% compared to the previous year. The next is statistical base effects. So high growth in certain sectors during the previous quarters created a base effect, leading to slower growth in the current quarter. The next is global uncertainties. Global uncertainties. So in this, external factors like global economic uncertainties, inflationary pressures, and fluctuating commodity prices affected private investment and consumptions. The next is monetary policy tightening. So hawkish policies by the RBI aimed at controlling inflation may have dampened growth in some sectors. The next is slower services sector growth. So key services such as trade, hotels and transport registered slower growth due to high base for last year and weaker demand recovery in this areas. So with this, we have the UPSC prelims question which have been asked in 2015. With reference to Indian economy, consider the following statement. The rate of growth of real gross domestic product has steadily increased in last decade. The gross domestic product at market price in rupees has steadily increased the last decade. Which of the statement given above is correct? So the answer is B, only two. So second statement is correct. So our next topic is about India yet to take decision on Pakistan invite to SCO meet. So, the External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar declared the end of the era of uninterrupted dialogue with Pakistan, reflecting strained relations since 2016 due to the cross-border terrorism. He emphasized that neighboring relations are complex and dynamic, and India will respond actively to future developments with Pakistan. So, we have to know about end of uninterrupted dialogue. So, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar stated the age of uninterrupted dialogue with Pakistan has ended. India's relationship with Pakistan and has been frozen since at least 2016 following a surge in cross-border terrorist attacks such as those in Pantacot and Uri. Next, the neighboring relations. The foreign minister emphasized that relations with neighboring countries are ongoing and dynamic. He noted that every country faces issues with its neighbors, highlighting that such relations inherently involve complications. Jaishankar cited political development in Bangladesh and the Maldives to illustrate the nature of neighboring relations. Next, the current status and future prospects. Jaishankar declared that Article 370 related to Jammu and Kashmir is no longer an issue. The focus now is on determining what kind of relationship can be envisioned with Pakistan moving forward. He assured that India is not passive and will respond to developments in the relationship with Pakistan, whether they are positive or negative. So with this, we have the UPSC mains question which have been asked in 2015. Terrorist activists and mutual distrust have clouded India-Pakistan relations. To what extent the use of soft power like sports and cultural exchanges could help generate goodwill between the two countries? Discuss with suitable examples. So you can practice on this question. Our next topic is about China reasserts its claims in regional disputes, pushes rivals' limits. So first we have to know about the news first. The Director General of Trade Remedies, that is DGTR, under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, has recommended the imposition of an anti-dumping duty on aluminium foils imported from China. This recommendation follows concerns that Chinese imports have captured 30% of Indian market despite sufficient domestic production capacity. Next, we have to know about what is anti-dumping duty. Anti-dumping duty is a tariff imposed on imports manufactured in foreign countries that are priced below the fair market value of similar goods in the domestic market. The government imposes anti-dumping duty on foreign imports when it believes that the goods are being dumped through the low pricing in the domestic market. Anti-dumping duty is imposed to protect local business and markets from unfair competition by foreign imports. The purpose anti-dumping duty is to rectify the trade distortive effort of dumping and re-establish fair trade. The use of anti-dumping measure as an instrument of fair competition is permitted to the World Trade Organization. The government must show the dumping took place, the extent the dumping in terms of cost and the injury of the trade to cause injury to domestic market. So with this we have to know about Director General of Trade Remedies. It is the apex national authority under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry for administering all trade remedial measures including anti-dumping, countervailing duties and safeguard measures. It provides trade defense support to the domestic industry and exporters in dealing with increasing instances of trade remedy investigations instituted against them by other countries. Now, what are the inquiry initiated by domestic procedures? The investigation was initiated following a request from Hindalco, one of India's largest aluminium manufacturers, along with companies like Shamsal and Power Limited, Venkateshwara Electrocast Private Limited, and Raviraj Foils Limited. They argued that the surge in cheap imports from China was harming domestic industries. Next, the impact on domestic industry. The DGTR found that the price of Chinese aluminum foil imports, particularly those up to 80 microns, were undercutting the prices of the domestic industry, forcing Indian producers to sell below the cost of production. The recommended anti-dumping duty ranges from $1619 and to $873 per ton. Now, what are this domestic production capacity here? During the period of investigation, the combined capacity and production of the domestic producers were thousand more than a lakh MT and 1000 MT, respectively, representing 45% of capacity and 54% of production in Indian market. Now, what are the concerns over the market monopoly here? Some industry stakeholders have expressed concerns that imposing duties could create a monopoly in the market. They want that it could adversely affect downstream producers by limiting their ability to source aluminum foils with good product quality and lead times, potentially impacting their ability to meet customer demands. Now, what is countervailing duty here? It is a specific form of duty that the government imposes to protect domestic producers by countering the negative impact of import subsidies. CVD is thus an import tax by importing country on imported producers. Now, why is CVD imposed? Foreign governments sometimes provide subsidies to their producers to make their products cheaper and boost their demand in other countries. To avoid flooding the market in importing country with these goods, the government of the importing country imposes CVD changing of specific amount of import of such goods. The duty nullifies and eliminates the price advantage enjoyed by imported product. WTO permits the imposition of CVD by its member countries. Next, the countervailing duty versus anti-dumping duty. Anti-dumping duty is imposed by prevent low-priced foreign goods and damaging the local market. So with this, we have the UPSC prelims question which have been asked in 2020. With reference to international trade of India at present, which of the following statement is correct? So India's merchandise exports are less its merchandise imports. India's imports of iron and steel chemicals, fertilizers and machinery have decreased in recent years. India's exports of service are more than its imports of service. India suffers from all overall trade current account deficit. Select the correct answer using the code given below. So here the answer is D. 1, 3 and 4th statement are correct. So with this we have the next topic as devoter. So this term is new term and we have to know about this. The Assam Chief Minister recently announced that nearly 1.2 lakh people in the state have been identified as that is dubious or doubtful. So doubtful voters with 41,583 declared as foreigners. So we have to know about the devoter detailedly. The concept of devoter is unique to Assam, where migration and citizenship are among the biggest political fault lines. It was introduced in Assam in the year 1997 by the Election Commission, targeting those who could not prove their Indian nationality. Those persons whose citizenship was doubtful or was under dispute were categorized as D-voters during the preparation of National Register of Citizens in Assam. Doubtful voter of doubtful citizenship have not been defined in the Citizenship Act of 1955 or the Citizenship Rules of 2003. The rules framed in 2003 list out the steps to be followed for the preparation of National Population Register and National Register of Indian Citizens. So under subsection 4 of section 4 that deals with the preparation of NRIC, it has been only mentioned the details of individuals whose citizenship is doubtful with entered by the local register with appropriate remark in population register for further inquiry. A family or individual is notified in a specific pro forma as soon as the verification process concludes whether they have been classified as dubious citizens, that is D category. Before deciding whether or not to add their name to the register, they are also given the opportunity to hear by the taluk or district registrar of citizenship. The registrar has 90 days to complete and justify his findings. Because the Indian citizenship has not been verified, doubtful voters are not allowed to vote elections. They are also not permitted to run for office in the nation election. The marking as doubtful voter is a temporary measure and cannot be prolonged as decision in a defined period of time must be taken. According to the documentation provided, if it is determined that the individual is a foreign national or an illegal immigrant, they may be deported or placed in detention center. The voters also have the opinion to apply and get their names included in NRC. They will be included only after they get clearance from the foreign tribunals and their names are removed from the electoral rolls under D category. So our next topic is about editorial analysis. Under editorial analysis, we have the topic the collapse of categories and post-individualism. So, the article explores the complexities of categorization in governance, politics, and identity, focusing on the fluidity of sex and gender. It highlights the evolving debate on gender identity, individualism, and societal fragmentation, particularly in the West, where traditional views of sex are challenged by growing acceptance of gender as personal choice. So first we'll be seeing the contested categories such as weight versus sex. Historically, sex categories, male and female, were universally agreed upon across faiths, political ideologies, and science. British biologist Richard Dawkins argued that sex categories are a rare exception to fluidity of the nature world. He stated the procreation relies on the union of male and female and intersex individuals being exceptions. Now, what is the new ideas of this sex choice here? So, the new idea is the concept of sex choice guided by the gender perception challenges traditional views. According to the Canadian Institute of Health Research, sex refers to biological attributes, while gender relates to social constructed roles and identities. Sex is biological, gender is how one feels, leading to contentious question about gender affirming that age of concern. This is a debate is central to current US political discourse. Next, what are the individualism and body mind relationship here? Historically, individualism emphasized the inviolability of both the body and the mind. The body was considered sacrosanct, with medical interventions aimed to restoring, not altering it, with the fluidity of the mind. This idea of challenges the longest held belief that male and female identities are permanent. Now, what are the signs and evidence in the gender debate here? Both proponents and opponents of gender affirming care use science and data to support their arguments. Modern technology enforces categorizes but also allows individuals to defy them. Science is not only about discovering reality but also creating new realities. Technological advances shift medical interventions from being restorative and to transformative, possibly leading to sex following gender as a matter of personal choice. So gender ideology has created a divide in the US and the West, with one side holding one to tradition views and other dismantling the notion of innovable individuals. The debate of gender and sex reflects deeper societal questions about identity, governance, and the role of technology in shaping the future. So with this, we have the next topic here, South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. So we have to know about this. The South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, that is SARC, was established with the signing of SARC Charter in Dhaka on 8 December 1985. So, the idea of regional cooperation in South Asia was first raised in November 1980 after consultations the foreign secretariats of the seven founding countries such as Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan and Sri Lanka met for the first time in Colombo in April 1981. Afghanistan became the newest member of SARC at 13th annual summit in 2005. The headquarters and secretariat of the association are at Kathmandu, Nepal. Now, what are their principles? Cooperation with the framework of SARC shall be based on respect for the principles of sovereign equality, territorial integrity, political independence, non-interference in the internal affairs of other states, and mutual benefit. Such cooperation shall not be substitute for bilateral and multilateral cooperation, but shall complement them. Such cooperation shall not be inconsistent with bilateral and multilateral obligations. Now we have to know about the members of SARC. So SARC comprises of 8 member states: Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. There are currently 9 observers in SARC. So 8 member states and 9 observers. So the observers are Australia, China, the European Union, Iran, Japan, the Republic of Korea, Mauritius, Myanmar, and finally the United States of America. Now, what are the objectives of the SAARC here? To promote the welfare of the people of South Asia and to improve their quality of life, to accelerate economic growth, social progress, and cultural development in the region, and to provide all individualisms an opportunity to live in dignity and to realize full potentials, to promote and strengthen collective self-reliance among the countries of South Asia, to contribute to mutual trust, understanding and appreciation of one another problems, to promote active collaboration and mutual assistance in economic, social, cultural, technical, and scientific fields, to strengthen cooperation with other developing countries, also to strengthen cooperation among themselves in international forums on matters of common interest, and to cooperate with international and regional organizations with similar aims and purposes. So that's all from today's topics. To read this document, you can visit our website. Our website link have been provided in the description. To get more daily current affairs videos, follow our YouTube channel, also our Telegram channel. Thank you.